Bill, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Welcome into the game in T-Town.
Hey, Ryan, how are you? Thanks for having me on.
Hey, man, it's always good. It's always good. We're 51 days, and you've been with us for the last 200 days that we've, kind of had to cry on somebody's shoulder after getting our butt whipped out in Santa Clara.
Yeah, and, media day start next week. I will not be joining you, unfortunately. I'll be down in Charlotte. Company, as you know, our offices are there, so I'll be checking out ACC and doing some office time. But
Okay, so I see what you're doing, Bill. You're saying that Clemson has went past Alabama, and we're no longer imported. I see what you're doing.
You, Harold Bugg, and Brett Beard all on me for the same reason. No, I think SEC, I got to give them credit. The one thing they are doing that the other conference aren't doing are bringing the stars out. Tua, Fromm, Kellen Mond, Andrew Thomas, the guys that, should be out there are out there when it comes to the SEC, and that's to be commended.
No, it's I think it's 9 quarterbacks that are from the 14 different schools, and the other schools that did not bring a quarterback, really a lot of competition. So when you look at Tua Tagovailoa, Jerry Jeudy, Dylan Moses, but we've been kind of playing the game of, what would irritate Nick Saban? What would tick him off that he would set him on fire and give us one of those Nick Saban rants that we all are pulling for?
As you know from being around him for a while, sorry, making me laugh too hard. As you know from being around him so long, it could come from anywhere. And I've become okay at spotting it. I don't know about you. I can spot it the question before now. So like if you see him start going on the question before the next one, you're like, I hope I'm not asking this question. So it'll be interesting to see. I think it'll be fun. What's going to happen on the Alabama angle is a lot of people are going to dissect Tua Tagovailoa. They're going to overreact to what he says. He's going to be questioned about his health. He's going to be questioned about the end of last season. And I think we sometimes forget that where his star power was going into last season, and I would say this, Ryan, he lived up to the hype. There's no question about it. So, the dissection is going to come from, is he a NFL quarterback? Is he the Heisman winner? Can they beat Clemson? He'll face all those questions.
No, 100%. And you almost wonder if that's, I wonder how Tua's going to handle this, because the year prior it was all about national championship, you're the hero, but quarterbacks get all the blame and they get all the criticism. Whether you look at his stat line, it wasn't too bad, but it wasn't that typical Tua-day, where he was missing 3 incomplete passes and almost perfect. He did look human out there for a few minutes.
No, and Clemson means business in those big games, and the pick six made a big difference. I don't think Tua played bad. And again, the analysis started after, where people were saying he was skittish in the pocket, or, the bottom line, what happened that night, more than anything, the number one factor that night is and Saban said as much after about 5 times, is Alabama could not get off the field on third down. And a big reason why was Trevor Lawrence was making some big-time throws to big-time receivers. And that's why they lost the game. So I think to pile on Tua is a little premature. And again, you're talking about, go look at the line. That's what I tell people. Go look at his line from last season. He was the Heisman front runner from front to back until about 96 hours before the season ended.
Well, and we've made the scenario, let's say that second drive, let's say he doesn't come back in, that being stepped on in the ankle, let's say that Jalen Hurts comes in at that point. Does he still win the Heisman Trophy? But I think for him grinding it out, he looked human because he was playing on one leg. And I think people were looking for an excuse not to vote for him. They're sick of Alabama. You know that.
Well, and Trevor Lawrence could go through the same thing this year, because he's being hyped up. He's being put in the – and I've done it too, and I do it without hesitation. I think Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback prospect since Peyton Manning. I really do. And I'm not old enough to remember watching John Elway in college, but I'm sure if you want to make that comparison, go for it. But as I tell people, for all the people making the Elway comparison and the Manning comparison and the Andrew Luck comparison, those 3 quarterbacks have combined for exactly 0 Heisman trophies. So I'll tell you this, if I was betting, I think Trevor Lawrence better bet to be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft than he is a Heisman Trophy winner, just because of the weird nature of that award.
Bill, let me ask you about these trap games a little bit. When you look at Alabama, I cannot find a trap game on Alabama's schedule. Is there one that you look at? I mean, you look at the schedule of Duke, no. New Mexico State, no. South Carolina on the road, Southern Miss, Ole Miss. You got a break before Texas A&M, so that's not a trap game. It's then Tennessee, Arkansas, then a break. Then you got LSU, so you got a break between your toughest really games with at Texas A&M and LSU here. Then you got to go to Mississippi State, Western Carolina, and at Auburn. Do you see anything there that might be a look-ahead game?
I think South Carolina's a little bit of a trap game. Just because Mississippi State is the same as it always is. That's a test, going down there and putting up with the cowbells and getting out with the win. But I think South Carolina, because early in the season, it's going to be just ridiculous hot. It's game where if Jake Bentley gets off to a good start, you never know. Now, before your listeners get on me, am I expecting Alabama to win by 21 or more? Of course. But, with like you said, when you're looking for a trap game for them, I just think that one where it falls early in the season and with the new coaching changes, maybe South Carolina gives them a good shot at Williams-Brice. And that's the only road venue where Nick Saban has not won with Alabama. And I know he's only been there once, and I know you don't want to relive the game the last time they went there.
Yeah, that was the entitlement, complacency. We've got an excuse every time we get beat. I don't think we can just man up and say we got beat. But South Carolina 2010, you want me print the excuses out for that one too? We were. I mean, 2010 was more talented than 2009.
The team that lost 3 games,
unbelievable,
might be the most talented team Saban's had, which is weird because you had Julio, you had Ingram. I just remember, as much as they lost 3 games, I remember them for the bowl game against Michigan State when they were angry, and that game was over in about 8 minutes. And that was a reminder that their fastball is pretty darn good, and it's better than anybody else's in college football. But that's my point. I mean, South Carolina snuck up on them and beat them that day. Do I think it's going to happen again? No. But if you're asking me to find a trap game for Alabama, it's very difficult.
No, 100%, 100%. All right, so when we go to different things, we're going to be asked next week to be submitting our polls for 1, 2, and 3 in the SEC West. Bill, we're going to get you a week early. Bama at 1, I assume?
Yeah, I'll go Bama at 1. I would probably go LSU at 2. And then, this is the hard part. I would probably go A&M 3 at this point. I think A&M, I hate their schedule. I think it's really tough with the crossover games. But I like the team, and I think Jimbo's going to have them going. I think LSU's schedule is a touch easier, and I trust them at home against A&M, if that makes sense, but I don't trust LSU to beat Alabama. So that's putting the other Tigers, Auburn, at 4, and I don't know what that would mean for Gus Malzahn. All
right, so let's go to Auburn for just a second. As you open up, how big is that game against Mario Cristobal and the Ducks in Arlington against the Oregon?
That's the biggest game of week 1, unless you disagree.
No, it is.
I think because of the implications for both teams, not just Oregon, who had their quarterback come back, has recruited well with Mario. Mario learned a thing or two in T-Town from the master at recruiting, and it's shown. And then, do they get it done against a big-time opponent like Washington couldn't last year? And then on the flip side, if Auburn loses, then the overreactions start. I don't know what to think of Auburn week to week, year to year, decade to decade, but I know this is a big year for Malzahn given what happened last year. And their schedule is very tough. I mean, they get Georgia and Alabama at home. They got a long way to go to get to those 2 games.
And I cannot wait. I want to take you back. First college football game that you've ever attended, because we're saluting this, and I know you wrote about it on sportingnews.com, as we get ready to celebrate 150 years of college football. We didn't get things started in Tuscaloosa until 1892, so we're not quite at 150. But as we celebrate college football, 150th year celebration, and the different kickoffs, you wrote about the College Football Hall of Fame. We're kind of looking back at the first college game that you ever attended. What was it?
Yeah, it was Ohio State and Minnesota. Now you're going to make me go back and look at the year. I'm not sure what year it was. I do remember, your listeners aren't going to remember these guys. Carlos Snow played for Ohio State, Darrell Thompson for Minnesota. Darrell Thompson actually, I think he was top 10 in the Heisman. And it rained, it was gross, but we were pretty close to the field. It was cool. It was a cool experience. That's when I learned that this is the one sport where you can throw 100,000 people in the same stadium, and it's just a better environment than the NFL, the NBA, the MLB. Although, hockey can be cool. It's just the venues are big. The games are big. They mean so much to so many people. And, you mentioned we put together an article about the 150 campaign, and, those guys at the Hall of Fame and the National Football Foundation care a lot about the sport, and people should visit the Hall of Fame. It's really cool.
No, 100%. So what year would that have been? What do you think? 90s?
It was in the 80s for sure, because Carlos Snow was a guy that, he was kind of built a little bit like Najee. He was a big dude. He could run. He was fast.
Was it a close game?
I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna tweet it at you because you're gonna make me go on college football reference.
No. I'm here. I'm here now.
Well, I'm not gonna pull up college football reference on my phone when I'm talking.
No. I'm here now. So was it Ohio State at Minnesota, or was it?
If you're on now, it was Minnesota at Ohio State, probably in the late 80s. Somewhere around then.
All right, you got a 13-6. 87 was 42-9.
I think that was it in Columbus?
It sure was, yes.
That's probably the game I was at.
And I don't know why, but it looks
cool.
like they played back-to-back in Columbus, which is weird. I'm not sure. They're probably building a stadium or something, but they played back-to-back, 86 and 87. So 42-9, and then they beat them 33-0 the previous year in 86.
I'm pretty sure that was the one because it was a blowout, and Ohio State, typically they blow out Minnesota anyway. But, I've been to a lot of places, a lot of venues. But I always tell people, as a Big Ten guy that grew up in this part of the country, when the first two stadiums you walk in are Ohio Stadium and Michigan Stadium, it does raise the bar, and it does make you appreciate every other stadium you go in. Because my favorite stadium, and I don't know if you had a chance to go when they played, and Alabama played out there, my favorite stadium is still the Rose Bowl.
I've never been. I'd love to go out there. Tom Tupa was the quarterback at Ohio State that year.
Yep, that's the game because he was a punter for the Cardinals later, and then I think he played quarterback and punter, and it was an interesting day. And I just remember it being not great weather, but I didn't care, and that's the other great thing about football. If you're at a game and it's fun and it's raining, or it's 90 degrees, or it's 40 degrees, it doesn't matter. It's the sport that we enjoy no matter what the weather is. Hey, well, you boys down there don't enjoy it when it's below 30, but we do.
Hey, Bill, I tell you this, and I was telling the audience earlier, as much as I dislike the team across the state, when we played here in Tuscaloosa, my first Iron Bowl, Auburn beat us 9-0 in Bryant-Denny Stadium, freezing rain. There was ice on the bill of my cap.
Well, I was going to ask you, Ryan, what's the I'm assuming that's the coldest game you've ever been to. What's the hottest one you've ever been to?
Oh, wow. I haven't even thought about that because it's always hot down here. Like we're triple digits. Like, we got heat advisories like crazy this week. Now, it's a little bit milder today, but we've been like 108 heat index here.
Well, I told the story. I went to North Carolina, South Carolina a few years ago. Remember when Clowney was there and it played on the opening night? It had to be 180 degrees because I walked from, where the press walks in from South Carolina to the stadium, and I didn't bring a second shirt. I should have. I was embarrassed with how much I was sweating. I'm telling you, Columbia is the hottest place on earth. I would submit that as. And I know it's not as far.
Come on down to Tuscaloosa, man. I'll put this place. We're the hottest place in the state. We're all, like, if you look at the temps, I don't know why. I don't know if it's. I have no clue why. But if you look at Tuscaloosa, it's the hottest place in the state, and
you
it
guys,
is.
You are close. You're closer to the equator, and I guess it just to borrow the tagline of your conference, it just means more when it comes to the heat, I suppose. I don't want it that hot up here in Ohio.
Oh, it is like, listen, everybody down here has a change of clothes in your vehicle, and if you don't, you're just not. You don't have it. Everybody has a change of clothes because you can go outside. Let's just say that you stop and get gas. You stop and get gas, and you are like wringing wet.
I believe it. I mean, and that's where we're at. And that makes you appreciate how these guys do it on the field. I don't know how they do it.
Well, we've been talking to athletes all day today and yesterday about how do they make it through 2-a-days and 108 heat index and all the different things. Bill Bender 92, Bill Bender 92 on the Twitter account. Even though Twitter was down, it's back up now. You can follow him, Bill Bender 92. Sportingnews.com, all the media day coverage. He said he'll be live there because he thinks Clemson's better than Alabama, and Nick Saban is going to retire in this part of the first part of the conversation. I'm just kidding. I made all that up. I was just trying to get you some Twitter heat.
Well, I'll miss you. Well, hey, how about make a deal? We'll have our annual reunion either during the season, and we'll make an appointment.
I want you to come to T-Town. I want you to come. I want to put you on some barbecue and some Southern cuisine.
I want that to happen because I want to see you before our annual lunch date on the Friday before the national championship.
Yeah, because I don't see anything that you want to come down here for unless LSU makes a run, and that November the 9th game is one of those killer games. But, I don't see anything that I'd want to invite you to as your first experience. New Mexico State, no. Southern Miss, no. Ole Miss, no. Tennessee, no. Arkansas, no. This home schedule here is trash this year. It's awful. I don't know how they're selling it. Well, they're not. They got billboards all over town. Appreciate you, Bill.
Well, no problem. I'll talk to you soon, Ryan. Take care. See you soon.